Bernie from Nevada. I have some non-Catholic friends who are into the idea of the rapture and think they are all going to be caught up into heaven soon. How could a Catholic respond to their belief in the rapture?
Well, first of all, Catholics do believe in the rapture in the sense that we believe in the second coming. 1 Thessalonians 4, the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and the trumpet of God. The dead in Christ will rise first, and we who are alive and remain will be caught up, raptured with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. That's biblical, that's Catholic doctrine as well. When the Lord returns, there's going to be a rapture. No question about it. Where you get into the sticky part is when you get into the surrounding events, the surrounding theology that's been built up around it, the modern day any moment rapture theory, dispensationalism, also called Chiliasm, has been officially labeled a heresy by the church. So for Catholics, it's not an option. And there are some very valid reasons
this
it's not an option.
This is the idea of an earlier...
Right. The whole scheme, to be brief, we have 1,000-year reign of Christ when Jesus is physically going to set up an earthly kingdom. Before that, we have 7 years of tribulation, which the Antichrist rules the world. Before that 7-year tribulation, you have the rapture, when all the real Christians are taken out of here so the Antichrist can rule the world. So that is pretty much the standard Chiliasm dispensational,
which was in that book that you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely.
That really brought you to faith.
Absolutely.
So that became a key of your faith even after that, right?
I got saved because I didn't want to be around during the tribulation. I didn't want to be a part of that, so I got saved. And just goes to show that God will use anything to get your attention, because I no longer agree with about 90% of that book. Right. And but that idea, that theology, that view of the end times has been labeled officially a heresy. Now, there's a lot of reasons that it's been labeled a heresy, and we don't really have time to get into all of that now. But it was getting over that mentality, because it feeds very much into anti-Catholicism. Because if we're in the end times and the Antichrist, this world ruler, also a religious leader, sounds a lot like the Pope, his religion, the harlot of Babylon, sounds like the Catholic Church. It was getting over that mindset. I actually abandoned that well before I came into the church, but that kind of helped as well, because if you don't believe we're necessarily in the last days right now, then what do you make of the Pope? What do you make of the Catholic Church? If it's not the Antichrist, what is it? Yeah. And of course, then that started the ball rolling.